It's amazing to think back to the first time I found a beam on the beach. I had no idea at the time that so much would arrive and it would become such a big part of my life. I've come to feel like each one of these timbers has its own personality and its own story to tell. You can see the just incredible joinery and workmanship in this piece. It just really illustrated to me the story about the Japanese carpentry and the incredible tradition that they have in building their homes, but also the story of the tsunami itself. And you look at a big, hefty beam like this, and you can only imagine what kind of force it would have taken to break this beam. Been working on getting some of that netting, which is, I was surprised it was harder to find than I thought it would be. The height, I'm gonna have to just sort of take it by eyeball as we're here, but potentially, 10 feet, maybe a bit more even. My dream is that I could actually kind of build it up using this tree as a main anchor and create like a great wave, just like that Japanese woodcut.
Nice.
This basket here is kind of a miscellaneous basket, but it's a good cross-section of the crazy stuff that we're finding in the oceans today. Here's the basket of all of the things that are round. And, this is all material I've collected from the ocean, from beaches, on all my walks. One of the materials I first started collecting, it was all this beautiful painted wood. Some of my favorite colors, these blues. This probably would have come off the gunnel of a boat. Just, you can see so much potential in that from a sculpture standpoint. The patina and the wear, you can't buy that kind of stuff. A lot of the material I find is just too big for putting into the shop. So I had to create a space outside the house to store some of the bigger material. And I really enjoy working with some of the large pieces that I find. Some great colors in here and some cool shapes. Have no idea on the history of this one. Word art is something that's always inspired me, so I'm always on the lookout for any bits and pieces that have numbers or words or even just letters on them. Just straight beware of. Every one of these pieces represents a trip to the beach and back again for me, so if you try and imagine, I'm beginning to add it all up, looking at all the pieces here, it's like, wow, those are a lot of trips down to the beach. Looks like it's just arrived here. It certainly smells like it. These are all little tiny gooseneck barnacles. And when you see these, you know that something's been way, way out in the middle of the ocean, because these are the critters that live out there. A lot of these belong to fishermen and a family business, and they're passed on even through generations. It's very representative of coastal Japan. But these were some of the first objects that really started showing up. Another kerosene container. They used large floats, and they all started showing up within about 9 months of the tsunami. This is a traditional table that you'd find in a Japanese home for entertaining your special guests. You'd kneel at the table. This is where you'd serve your tea. I mean, this is just an incredible piece of wood. It's just the thickness of it. It's all one solid piece of wood. For every object that we might be able to find the owner where it came from, there's 1,000 pieces or more of material that's showing up that we'll never find where it came from or who it belonged to. And so we're left with that material. I've collected it now, and I know there's lots of others that are doing the same, and it's, what do you do with it now? If this had happened to us, how would we want people to treat it? How would we want them to remember us? And I just try and ask myself that question all the time.
That's what we do.
I'm pretty sure,
we do
'cause she
Western, when we go riding and
Yes.
Jasper and stuff.
Yeah, it's all Western, yeah.
Well, I'll never forget where I was for the earthquake in Japan, because it was in Alaska, in Prince William Sound, on a boat. And we woke up that morning, I think around 7 o'clock, we got up for breakfast, and the captain of the boat said, "Oh, you guys have to see this." And so we all went up to the wheelhouse and we watched those horrific images of just everything, all the debris flows and the huge waves and everything. It was incredible.
It was overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. And then it kind of kicked in, was, oh my God, that's probably going to generate a tsunami going across the ocean as well. And so then I started thinking about you guys, and I was like, oh, you probably evacuated, you're out of the house, the whole world's upside down in Tofino. It just scared the crap out of me.
When like a tsunami comes, probably it's most likely gonna just wipe out like just our area. It's pretty scary to think about.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for coming. Let's just turn it.
Is this gonna fit in through here?
Yeah.
Maybe that instead of that. What do you think, Pete? This one or this one?
They both got to go.
You can just show me where you want the end of it to stick out.
Yeah. I get the wrong tool for this job.
Yeah. Poke it through that hole. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does just sit in there, doesn't it? Cool. The first piece laid. The styrofoam was the First stuff to arrive, you know. I had 100 of these from just the Long Beach, and we had them all stacked up at one point. I've never worked at this scale before. I've never worked at such a sensitive topic before. My work is traditionally, you know, very lighthearted in many ways. You feel very enveloped in the forest. You're very safe, kind of surrounded, you know, and I keep thinking back to that tsunami. And how people would have felt that in their communities, how safe they would have felt. And yet suddenly, you know, out of nowhere came this this horrific wave, and I think that's sort of fitting for this setting, that, you know, it feels like a safe place, feels very, you know, really contained, and almost like, you know, you would in your home. This crazy blue net feels so out of place. And that's very much, I think, what that tsunami must have felt like for those people, you know. What is happening, what just happened.